විහිදෙන ජීවිතේ.
Good evening, this is Primetime News here on TV1. I am Ruhaza Irfan for the Newsfirst team, where the people come first. Before we move on with our bulletin, let's take a look at your headlines for this evening.
Protesters from Nodil Gama seek a meeting with the Prime Minister. CID visits Mahinda Rajapaksa to record a statement, and President appoints former military commanders to probe violence. Vikum Lianage, Sri Lanka's new army commander, as Shavendra Silva to become Chief of Defence Staff. IMF chief reveals how support will come to Sri Lanka.
Once we have clarity of what the program may look like and how that can be restructured.
Gas supply halted for 5 days. Massive queues for kerosene. Sapugaskanda refinery at risk of permanent closure. Special meeting at SLFP headquarters on the 21st Amendment. Local government politicians unruly conduct inside police station.
Your top story tonight is one from the sporting arena. Sri Lanka's Yupun Abekon broke the 100-meter Sri Lankan and South Asian records by clocking 10.6 seconds at the International Athletics Meeting Annual 2022 in Germany. Protesters from No Deal Gama opposite Temple Trees made their way to the Prime Minister's private residence in Flower Road, Colombo, demanding an opportunity for talks. However, Sri Lanka police prevented them by blocking the road.
The protesters from No Deal Gama, located opposite Temple Trees, began a protest march this morning. However, they were stopped by the Sri Lanka police at Flower Road, Colombo, and this led to a heated situation.
Ladies college, Royal College, Thurston College,
වැරදි පැත්තකට මේ ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. අපි මෙතන වැරදි පැත්ත කියන්නේ ළමයි ඉන්න මෙතන. මොකද එරුංගනේ මලා හෙන්න වගේ ඉන්නවා. අයි මලා හෙන්න වගේ ඉන්නේ. උඹට මොනවානේ කලින්කෝ අපි තොපියනුත් මෙතන ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. අයි තොපිය අපිට උස්සන්නේ. මොනවා කරන්න බෑ. පොලිසියත් එක්ක ගියාමිල්ලා නෙමෙයි. ආඩියලා ඉමු. මොකද මේ
යුනිෆෝම් එක ලැජ්ජයි. එතන ඉන්නට ඇත්තටම අපිට ලැජ්ජයි. ඕකට මුලින්ම කන්ට තිබ්බේ. දැන් නම් නෑ. ඒ මොකද දන්න ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඒක ඇඳගෙන හොරුමනේ රකින්නේ මහ ජනතාව රකින්නේ ලෝකවල.
මිනිහ ගෙහිණියක් දෙන්න ගියක් අතන කහවල මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ මිනිහ? ධර්මයේ.
එයා රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ කියනවා පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ.
Ranil speaks of the Molamure family. I am here from the Midiniya Walawa. Before she became Lady Molamure, Adeline Midiniya was my grandmother. Do not use the Midiniya name again. He may be my uncle, but he is a traitor. Remove Sagala Ratnayaka and your stooges who were rejected by the people. All UNP members must be removed from public administration.
UNP के बालुकुक्को राज्य परिपालने वहाँ माई करवा.
Thereafter, the group attempted to reach the Cambridge Terrace residence of the Prime Minister through another road. However, again, the police blocked them and informed them of a court order against the protest march.
පුද්ගලයන් ඒකරාශී කරගනිමින් කොල්ලුපිටිය පොලිස් වසමේ රාජකීය විද්‍යාලයේ ත්‍රස්ත නිර්දේශ අසර මාර්ග හා පදික වේදික ආයෝජනය කරමින් පැවැත්වීමේ සංවිධානය කරමින් උද්ඝෝෂණය වැළැක්වීම වළක්වාලමින් මෙම ආඥාව පොදු මහ ජනතාව වෙත යොමු කිරීමට කොල්ලුපිටිය පොලිස් ස්ථානාධිපතිය වෙත අවසර දෙමි.
The group eventually left the area. A protest was staged in Tangol demanding the arrest of those who attacked peaceful protesters earlier this month. Tensions flared when the Frontline Youth Union protesters attempted to march towards the Carlton residence. Detective attached to the Criminal Investigations Department recorded a statement from former Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. A statement was recorded from him regarding the attacks on Maina Gogama and Gota Gogama peaceful protest sites on the 9th of May 2022. A senior police officer said that detectives visited the location where the former Prime Minister is currently residing and recorded the statement.
Chaminda Hettiarachchi, a Sri Lanka Pudujana Peramana member of the Attanagala Pradesh Sabha, was remanded until the 7th of June. He is facing charges of obstructing the duties of police officers. The Pradesh Sabha member's residence was damaged during the unrest on the 9th of this month. 3 suspects were arrested and produced in court in connection to the incident. The politician is accused of storming into the house of a person who placed their bond and threatening him. The local government member had stormed into the police station in Attanagala to file a complaint over the incident. Thereafter, the Pradesh Sabha member was arrested and remanded by the Athanagala Magistrates Court until the 7th of June. Additional Magistrate Shashika Lakmale Dasanayaka had said that such conduct by public representatives is a blow to the rule of law. A man had tried to set fire to the vehicle of a group of suspects who were produced in court for damaging the house of the Deputy Chairman of the Homagama Pradesh Sabha on the 9th of May. The incident was captured by CCTV cameras at the premises. A man wearing a full face helmet and a jacket began filming us. We asked why he was filming us. He openly threatened the police. When we were leaving the court, we were told that a van is being set on fire. The van belonging to my brother was set on fire.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has appointed a committee to investigate the recent violence near his private residence in Mirihana. The committee comprises of 3 former military officials. Admiral of the Fleet Vasantakaran Nagoda leads the committee that comprises of General Daya Ratnayaka and Marshal of the Air Force Roshan Gunatilaka. The Frontline Socialist Party today revealed that instructions were given by the Ministry of Public Administration to expedite the assessment of the property damage that took place on the 9th of May. District secretaries have been informed to give priority to the poorest families in the area and to distribute food to them. The Ministry of Public Administration, Home Affairs and Local Government has issued a letter to all district secretaries this morning, which was signed by MP K. Mayadunne. That letter has been sent to stop all other activities. Priority has been given to the property of local politicians that was set on fire on the night of May 9th. We must check the asset declarations of these politicians to see how they built these mansions. If they can't prove how they got the money, they should be prosecuted for embezzling public funds. It's not about paying compensation, it's about prosecuting them. 7 or 8 people died in recent gas explosions and there were houses that were on fire. But where is the estimate and compensation? We urge you to send a letter to the district secretaries this evening to obtain the correct estimates and publish it by 5 p.m. Compensation was not even paid for flood damages. They fill out the forms, but compensation was never paid.
Several public sectors are embarking on trade union actions based on the instructions issued by the Treasury to cut the salaries and allowances for public servants. Today, health sector employees, including doctors, took various trade union actions against the instructions issued by hospital heads to pay allowances in a manner not to exceed the basic salary as instructed by the Treasury. The doctors at the Karapide Teaching Hospital were on a token strike since 8 this morning, demanding an immediate end to the arbitrary cuts. Healthcare workers of the Akre Base Hospital also organized a protest this morning against the decision to slash their overtime pay.
They are slashing the payments that we are due for the work that we completed. This is an arbitrary act. We demand the government to immediately withdraw the salary cut circular. They must add the amounts that they deducted from us to the next month's salary. By next Monday, if this circular is not withdrawn and our salaries are not credited to the next month's salary, we will stage a trade union action starting from next Monday. The overtime payments for the month of March for the supplementary health staff has been slashed. The Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Finance has no right to slash payments for work that has already been done. We continue to demand for a proper mechanism to manage finances in this country. When we engaged in discussions with the Minister of Health today, we requested him to provide solutions for several requests. He said that the payments that were slashed for last month's work will be corrected next week. Therefore, we suspended the trade union action.
It is reported that the Health Secretary has inquired from the Treasury as to whether it is possible to amend the existing directives regarding the public service, pointing out the importance of health services. Teachers' trade unions are also preparing for trade union actions.
Is there a way for these students to come to school in this prevailing crisis? Can they bear the cost of school vans? What is the solution? The government must be clear about these. It is also relevant to the principals.
අනිකුත් රාජ්‍ය සේවකින්ට කියනවා.
If other public servants were instructed to report to work to the nearest station, the Ministry of Education and other government officials must find solutions to the transport crisis that the teachers and students are facing. We are prepared to continue without causing any disruptions to students' educations once schools reopen on the 6th. Our struggle will continue.
Officials of the government printing departments staged a protest in Borella.
How do we survive when our salaries are reduced? When the banks deduct our loan installments from the salary we receive, we are left with a meager amount of money. We didn't get these allowances through the rulers. We fought and worked hard for these benefits. Therefore, they have no right to reduce salaries like this.
Gas cylinders have not been released to the market for the past 4 days. People say that they are unable to buy kerosene as an alternative either. People were seen in queues to purchase kerosene today as well. In Grand Pass, people have been in queue for 5 days to purchase kerosene.
ගෑනු කට්ටිය දවස් පහක් ඉන්න ඇඳුමක් මාරු කරන්න බැරුව ඉන්නේ.
ලාම්බු තෙලුත් නැහැ, ගෑසුත් නැහැ. මේ දර පත්තු කරන්න දරත් නැහැ. දර පත්තු කරන්නේ කොයිද? ෆ්ලැට් ඔක්කොම පල්ලේ පත්තු කරලා ඔක්කොම ගිනි තියන්න තමයි තියෙන්නේ. අපි මේ ජල රට වෙනුවෙන් අපි මහා පාරවල් අතු ගාලා කුණු එකතු කරලා අද අපි මහා පාරනේ වැස්සල තෙමෙනවා. ආවුවට වේලෙනවා.
කොහොම එකක් ගෙන්න දෙන්න බලන්නේ. එහෙම නැතුව පාරවල් වහගෙන මේව කළොත් මට ඊට පස්සේ මේ ඩෙන්ටිටි කාඩ් එක බලලා මම ග්‍රෑන්ඩ් පාස් ID විතරක් දෙන්න කියලා මිනිස්සු ඉල්ලයි.
The situation in Kotahena was no different to the situation in Grand Pass. At the Negombo town, people were seen in queues for many hours to buy kerosene. This afternoon, those in queues were informed that kerosene would not be sold to them. As a result, they had to go back empty-handed. Tensions erupted in a queue for kerosene at a filling station in Kenya. People in the central parts of Sri Lanka have also been affected by the crisis. In Kotagala, there were long queues for kerosene. A commotion was seen when police informed that kerosene would only be sold to residents.
මෙතනට ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ භූමිදල් කඩ මම දැනට කුලියට ඉන්නේ මේ කොටගල හැරින්ටන් කොලනි එකේ දිමුලපතලට අදාළ නැති කට්ටිය යන්න කරුණා කරලා යන්න භූමිදල් දෙන්නේ කියලා කියනවා මේක මොකක්ද මේක සාධාරණයක් ඊයේ 10 ඉඳලා ඉන්නවා දැන් ඇවිල්ලා කියනවා මේ ලයිට් බිල් ගේන්න අරක මේක කියලා දැන් මම ගිහිල්ලා ලයිට් බිල් අරන් එනකම් මෙතන භූමිදල් කීයේද.
The Sapugaskanda refinery was once used to produce kerosene required by the country, but the refinery has not been running due to the dollar crisis. As kerosene is not being produced, authorities are now importing jet fuel. This refinery produced kerosene oil to meet the entire demand in the country, but today we add dye to jet fuel and sell that as kerosene. The government is spending massive amounts of money on importing non-essential items like apples, grapes, water bottles and tear gas. Give priority to this. Halting operations in a refinery that runs 24 hours throughout the year is a massive loss in the long run. Workers at the Sapugaskanda refinery staged a protest demanding for the facility to be The rulers in our country are not finding solutions, although they can do that. This refinery can produce 7,500 gas cylinders that are needed daily. Multiply this number by 30. How many gas cylinders can be produced throughout the refinery daily? Aren't you ashamed to hold these ministerial positions? Our refinery is going to waste. We heard that there are leaks in several boilers at the refinery. We can't run the refinery when they bring crude oil. The machinery at the refinery is in danger.
Protesters at Gotago Gama said they would continue the protest until the president steps down from his position.
A media briefing was held at the protest site today. The 28th of May will mark 50 days since the protest began. We are planning to declare a black day in Sri Lanka in line with that. No one can be harassed in Sri Lanka. It would be a peaceful struggle. It is only a struggle against the Rajapaksas and the government. Sri Lankan citizens began this struggle to remove President Gotabaya from power. We have 4 main demands. Gotabaya must step down as president. The Gotabaya-Ranil administration must be defeated. They must stop the suppression of people who were arrested for taking to the streets. All politicians and masterminds of the attacks on May 9th must be arrested. The government that is not providing relief to the people has to be removed. The government has not arrested the main suspects over the incident. Instead of arresting the masterminds like Johnston Fernando, Deshbandhu Thenakon and Mahinda Rajapaksa, they have arrested more than 1,800 innocent people. How can they implement 2 laws in one country?
Fitch Ratings has estimated the losses from the recent unrest in Sri Lanka to exceed 1 billion rupees.
Fitch Ratings says state-owned National Insurance Trust Fund will bear most of the losses from the recent unrest in Sri Lanka. It said, we expect NITF to have sufficient liquid assets to meet its claim obligations. The ratings agency said these losses will be borne by the NITF's Strike, Riot, Civil Commotion and Terrorism Fund. Fitch said the fund may see more losses in the near term due to the civil unrest amidst Sri Lanka's weak economic condition. But it said this situation would not affect the capital position of the National Insurance Trust Fund.
More news will come your way after this short commercial break. Stay tuned.
පුරා ගලන මේ සතුට සුරක්ෂිත කරන්නේ Eslon Insight. Eslon ජීවයයි ජලයේ ජීවිතේ.
Welcome back to the news. General Shavendra Silva will relinquish the office of the Army Commander on the 31st of May. The incumbent Chief of Staff, Major General Vikumli Enage, will be appointed as the new Commander of the Army with effect from the 1st of June.
Shavendra Silva was appointed as Army Commander on the 18th of August 2019 and was promoted to the rank of General on the 28th of December 2020. While performing his duties as the Army Commander, General Shavendra Silva was also appointed as the Acting Chief of Defence Staff on the 2nd of January 2020. General Shavendra Silva will assume office on the 1st of June 2022 as the new Chief of Defence Staff after relinquishing the office of the Commander of the Army on the 31st of May. General Shavendra Silva commented on his plans on Newsfirst's 10 Questions program. There is no plan to enter politics yet. There are only rumours. I only know about the military. My only intention is to serve the country through this. I don't want to even think about politics and I don't intend to do that. We served our country through the army. We don't have any intention of joining politics. We have worked tirelessly and we are doing our best for the country. When the time comes, we have to retire. Yes, I can. There is a process of doing it and it must be done based on the situation and the opportunity. Incumbent Chief of Staff Major General Vikum will be appointed as the new commander of the army with effect from the 1st of June after relinquishment of his office as the Chief of Staff. Major General Vikum is a proud product of the Gajaba regiment.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says discussions are taking place in Parliament to reach a national consensus. The President made these remarks as he joined the international conference online today.
The 27th International Conference on the Future of Asia was organized by Japan's Nikkei newspaper.
We have appointed a new Prime Minister and a cabinet of ministers with representation from multiple political parties, and we are fostering ongoing discussions in Parliament towards forming a national consensus on the way forward. Sri Lanka is Asia's oldest democracy. It is crucial that the solutions to our present national crisis are supported through our nation's democratic framework. As we work through such solutions, however, we urgently require the assistance of our friends in the international community to ensure that our immediate needs in terms of the importation of essential medicine, food supply and fuel are met. We are also in urgent need of bridging financing to restore confidence in our external sector and stabilize our economy until the debt restructuring process is completed and an IMF program commences.
The International Monetary Fund's Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva says Sri Lanka's crisis is due to mismanagement. She was speaking to India's NDTV at Davos.
I feel for the people in Sri Lanka. It is breaking my heart to watch the pictures of what is happening in a country that once was quite prosperous. It is a result of mismanagement, and therefore the most important thing to be done is to put the country back on a sound macroeconomic footing, and there has to be that restructuring for Sri Lanka, which we will strongly support. We have a technical team in the country. We are ready to support Sri Lanka once we have clarity of what the program may look like and how that can be restructured. And I want to express my gratitude to India for being such a good friend of Sri Lanka and for advocating for support for Sri Lanka in this very difficult time.
We have been discussing with various officials and institutions on the economic crisis. There are countries to help us. Japan and Western nations have shown commitments towards resolving the debt crisis. China and the World Bank are also offering us funds. Once we reach an agreement with the IMF, they will provide us with a large sum of money. We need these funds. We have reached an agreement on some basic principles. We need to plan the way forward. It will take about 2 weeks to do that. An IMF team hopes to arrive in Sri Lanka, study our plan and then reach an agreement with us. We need to import fuel, gas and fertilizer. We are taking steps to collect aid. I hope to make a special statement on the economic situation during tomorrow's parliamentary session.
බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මේ රටේ තියෙන ආර්ථික තත්ත්වය ගැන ඊළඟ පාර්ලිමේන්තු දවසේදී විශේෂ ප්‍රකාශයක් කරන්න.
The International Monetary Fund says adequate assurance that debt sustainability will be restored are required for an IMF-supported program for Sri Lanka.
An International Monetary Fund team led by Peter Brewer and Masahiro Nozaki conducted a virtual mission with the Sri Lankan authorities between May 9th and 24th on an economic program that could be supported by an IMF lending arrangement. At the conclusion of the mission, the IMF team issuing a statement said, since Sri Lanka's public debt is assessed as unsustainable, approval by the IMF's executive board for a program for Sri Lanka would require adequate assurances that debt sustainability will be restored. The team welcomed the appointment of financial financial and legal advisors to engage in a collaborative dialogue with their creditors as an important step towards restoring public debt sustainability. The IMF statement said it will continue to monitor the economic and political situation very closely and engage with authorities to formulate concrete measures under an IMF-supported program as well as broader stakeholders to support a timely resolution of the crisis.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said, as a close friend and neighbour, India is providing all possible support to Sri Lanka. He made these remarks during a visit of the Indian state of Tamil Nadu.
Sri Lanka is passing through difficult times. As a close friend and neighbour, India is providing all possible support to Sri Lanka. This includes financial support, support of fuel, food, medicine and other essential items. Many Indian organizations and individuals have sent assistance for their brothers and sisters in Sri Lanka. India has also spoken strongly in international fora for extending economic support to Sri Lanka. India will continue to stand with the people of Sri Lanka and support democracy, stability and economic recovery in Sri Lanka.
At a moment such as this, when the Prime Minister has graced Tamil Nadu, I have some very important requests to make from him on behalf of the people of this state. I would like to draw the attention of the Prime Minister to save the Kachativ Island and ensure the traditional fishing zone and rights of the Tamil Nadu fishing community are secured, in turn solving the main issue of the coastal fishing community in Tamil Nadu. This is the opportune moment to do so.
Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Kee Zeng Hong, was confronted by a local during a visit to the eastern part of Sri Lanka today.
Ambassador Kee Zeng Hong visited Kalmune, the largest city of the Ampara district, and engaged in the distribution of goods to the locals. The Sinhalese, Tamils and Muslims are all friends of China. I believe everyone should work together regardless of ethnic differences to overcome the current crisis in the country. During his speech, a local resident raised concerns over the situation in the country. Despite the interruption, the ambassador continued his remarks. The Chinese ambassador also visited the Batiklo district.
The collaborative future in the coming years.
The Chinese ambassador also spoke on support for Sri Lanka.
The Chinese government has announced 500 million Chinese yuan, equal to $76 million as government aid or as a grant to Sri Lanka. It will be in the form of food, medicines as well as other urgently needed materials. One of the main reasons for my visit to the eastern province is to donate 10,000 food packages, which is supported by the Xinjiang provincial government. Red Cross China has already donated $48,000 in aid. There will be another $150,000 in aid. I believe there will be another third or fourth batch from the Chinese Red Cross.
Egyptian ambassador to Sri Lanka, Majid Mosleh, said Arab countries will discuss on supporting Sri Lanka.
We are very much ready to help as much as we can, also together with the Arab countries, with non-aligned countries, to see ways and means to provide even symbolic assistance to Sri Lanka. We will be discussing this in the group of Arab ambassadors in the coming couple of weeks to see how we can support the Sri Lankan economy in this challenging time.
We now cross over to a short commercial break. Stay tuned.
මොකද මහත්තයා මේ
නෑ මේ ගෙදර සිංක් එකේ
අයි මහත්තයා ස්ලෝන් නෙවෙයිද දැම්මේ
හදිස්සියට බාලා පයිප්පයක් දැම්මේ නැද්ද මුදලාලි ඊයේ පෙරේදා කඩේ රිපෙයාර් කරන්න ගෙනාපු ගම් චුට්ටක්
මේ වගේ ප්‍රශ්න වලට හොඳම විසඳුම ස්ලෝන් ගම් චුට්ටක් හැබැයි ඉක්මනින් දාගන්න ස්ලෝන් පයිප්පයක්
එස්ලෝන් ගම් චුට්ටා හැම ගෙදරකම සිටිය යුතු ජලනල කාර්මිකයා දැන් රඟම ග්‍රොසරියෙන් මිලදී ගන්න.
Welcome back to the news. Sri Lanka's economic crisis is worsening with more people joining queues to purchase essentials. Against such a backdrop, the 21st Amendment has taken centre stage in political sphere.
The 21st.
Much attention has been drawn towards the 21st Amendment to the Constitution as a possible solution to restore political stability in the country. Parliamentarian Ranjit Madhuva Bandara, the General Secretary of the Samagijana Balawege, presented a bill titled the 21st Amendment to the Constitution on the 17th of May. And the same day, Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa presented the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution to Parliament. Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa, who assumed duties as the Minister of Justice, later presented the 21st Amendment to Parliament in the form of a private member's bill. But the Bar Association of Sri Lanka announced that they cannot be satisfied by the limitations to the executive presidency included in the draft presented by Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa and suggested their recommendations to that proposal. The main opposition party, the Samagijana Balawege, has also said that they are not satisfied with the draft submitted to the cabinet. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa has expressed concern over the draft bill for the 21st Amendment to the Constitution proposed by Justice Minister Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa. Sajith Premadasa said that parliamentarian Ranjit Madhuva Bandara, the General Secretary of the Samagijana Balawege, presented a bill titled the 21st Amendment to the Constitution which seeks to abolish the executive powers of the President and restore the provisions of the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. He said the President, in his address to the nation on the 11th of May, committed that the 20th Amendment to the Constitution would be repealed and the 19th Amendment to the Constitution would be restored and steps would be taken to abolish the executive presidency. However, the opposition leader noted that contrary to the promises given by the President, the draft by the Justice Minister enables the President to hold ministerial portfolios, which was not envisaged in the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. He noted that the draft bill, instead of reducing the power of the executive president, does the opposite by strengthening the President's executive powers contrary to the provisions of the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party met to discuss the 21st Amendment today. Nimal Suripala Silva and Mahinda Amaravira, who accepted ministerial positions by going against the party's policy, attended the meeting. We discussed extensively the draft of the 21st Amendment. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party agrees with this draft. We discussed some proposals to strengthen this. We will discuss this at the all-party meeting. The SLFP has also been invited. Talks have been held. We will be able to arrive at a decision by discussing this in the future. We won't remain in the government if they don't amend the constitution. We haven't discussed that yet. We don't know who else will take up these positions. We will wait for a couple of weeks.
Wild elephants destroyed 2 homes in the village of Jayantigama in Kantale last night. Recently, some parliamentarians had sought funds to repair their home that were damaged in the unrest this month. Villagers are questioning whether lawmakers will do the same in this instance as well.
Villagers of Jayantigama are spending their nights in fear of marauding elephants. Wild elephants that encroached into the village destroyed 2 homes last night. Garbage from surrounding villages that are dumped by local authorities in Suryapura is contributing to attracting these elephants. Ultimately, it's the people who are paying a bitter price.
සහනයක් කරලා දෙන්න කියලා තමයි මම කියන්නේ. බොහොම අමාරුවෙන් අපි ගේ හදාගත්තා.
ඇමතිවරුන්ගේ ගෙවල් විනාශ කරා කියලා ඇමතිවරුන්ගේ ගෙවල් සාදා දෙන්න කියලා ඒ මිනිස්සු මාධ්‍ය කෑ ගහනවා. මේ වගේ දුප්පත් මිනිස්සුන්ගේ ගෙයක් හදලා දුන්නා නම් ඒක තමයි ලොකුම දේ.
When we came rushing, we saw the elephants taking away the roof. To whom can we complain? It has destroyed a house of a family with children. Using millions of rupees, they have only constructed buildings and they are protecting them. But the villages are being destroyed.
Mahinda Ambaravira, who was the environment minister last year, had pledged to solve the problem. But a solution is still far from sight. A year later, Mahinda Ambaravira is now holding a different cabinet portfolio. But the people continue to suffer due to encroaching elephants. The people of Jayantigama are eagerly waiting for the day when they can sleep soundly at night.
Another phase of the Divi Savya program to distribute dry rations among families in need was held in the Nuwara district today. The program is sponsored by LOLC Holdings.
The Divi Savya program, sponsored by LOLC Holdings, entered its 13th day today. Two teams distributed dry rations among 8 Grama Niladaru divisions in the Nuwara district. The Divi Savya program aims at supporting low-income families amidst the economic crisis.
And this brings us to an end of primetime news here on TV1. For more of these stories, you can log on to our website, which is www.newsfirst.lk. Thank you for watching and good night.